We are in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, which it is the center of Renaissance art, sculpture, painting. It has Botticelli, Da Vinci, Ghirlandaio, Lippi. It is the most amazing thing. This is the hallway, which has a lot of Roman statuary, as you see. It's so inspiring to me that I came up when I saw this. Just kind of living Renaissance art. And it's so good for the novel, and it just made me, I gotta set a scene here. So I think I'm gonna do something really interesting in this. I'm not gonna give it away right now in the novel, but I think I will take you, come with me, because I'll take you what would happen. Way. You check It's so interesting because if you end up here, you see this incredible portrait. Was Caterina's father. Wouldn't that just be so? She ended up here and was so taken aback after this chase. It would be incredible. These are the 7 virtues. The 11th pattern painted by Botticelli. The others are equally incredible. Wow. I can't get over the music.
It's such scary theme music.
I know.
It startled Bobby.
Psychological thriller. So the novel we're talking about is mine first, The Unraveling of Julia. And as I've said before, if you haven't heard, I'll just repeat it quickly, that it's not a historical fiction. What it is a novel set in Florence. It's about a woman who inherits a mysterious mansion, villa, and a whole lot of money in Florence, but she doesn't recognize the name of her benefactor. She's inheriting from a stranger who she thinks might be her grandmother, but she doesn't know for sure because she's adopted and doesn't know anything about her birth family. So that's the novel, right? Now, why we're doing these things is because a little bit I go, why do you do research? Like, why am I talking about the Uffizi? Why did I go there? Why does it matter? And it's this. First, I go there because I want to understand Florence. Florence is so steeped in art and Renaissance art, and it's all collected in this one incredible place. By the way, I know that the audio was really bad on the video. That's because we weren't supposed to be able to do it. We weren't allowed to do it. And we're being a little rule breaky, which means that you got a video that you can see, but not hear a GD thing. But I was really steeping myself in Renaissance art. But it's a really good example of what happens in research, because sometimes you have an experience that you didn't count on. So I'm walking through the Uffizi, I'm trying to soak in all the art because this character in the book starts to think that she might be related to a woman from the Renaissance, Caterina Sforza. And as I showed you and then whispered, all of a sudden I'm walking around with all these other people, and I turn into this room, and there is a picture of the Duke of Milan, who is the father of this character, Caterina Sforza. Now, I couldn't have guessed that would happen in a million years. I've been to Uffizi before, and I see many of the commenters have too. Thank you for your research, Maureen. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, first off, this is like a sign. This is good that you're writing about this. But secondly, I ended up, I'm not going to give anything away, but I ended up setting a chase scene in the Uffizi, because that portrait, which I didn't know I would encounter, was the reason I did it. So it's sort of cool because you're doing it not only to inform your character and the kinds of things she wouldn't know about, but also this fortuitous thing happens to you and you find a way to use it. So that's why research matters, because also, and I should mention this, segue into you, Florence in my book becomes a setting and a character at the same time. So Florence is so much imbued in the novel, and Florentine food and Tuscan wines and Chianti, that you need to know what, for me, you need to know what you're talking about. So you actually have to go, which is also kind of great, but that's why research matters. It informs the book, and sometimes it informs a character in the book or an event in the book.
That's so cool. And you didn't even expect to see that
I
painting.
didn't even know it. I had no clue.
That it even existed.
No,
That's really neat.
I know.
Yeah, when I was researching Full Bloom, it was research happens at a lot of different phases. Sometimes you know exactly what you're looking for. You already have your plan, you know where you're going to set it, and then you research it. This was research I did really at the very beginning, the earliest conception of the idea, where I didn't even know what shape this book was going to take. This is so funny. Behind the computer, a little dog is climbing onto the table. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I didn't even know what the story was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to be set in France. I didn't know if it was going to be historical. I didn't know what to, but I knew that perfume has been a passion of mine and I wanted to learn everything I could about it. So I went to the cradle of perfumery, which is in Grasse in the south of France. It's called that because literally it's sort of a basin-shaped, earth that creates like the most advantageous, nurturing environment to grow flowers. And so it becomes the place where all of Europe has these, original flower fields. Now they're also like in Thailand and other places, but initially it was all in Grasse, France. And so there's incredible perfume museum and, really super old perfume houses, one called Gallimard, which has been in continuous production of fragrance since 1747. And so it's like, I was sort of just doing research and just playing tourist and getting to dive into what fascinates me. And it was there that I was like, you could learn to make your own fragrance, just one-on-one, a totally private experience in the workshop of Gallimard, advised by a professional perfumer, which is called a nose. I think it's so clever.
Yeah,
They're called a nose or nez in French. And I had the experience of making my own fragrance, and I got to sit down at the perfumer's organ. That's what it's called. They use all this. It's funny, as in every language, French, English, we lack a vocabulary for scent. We really don't have that many words to describe olfaction. And so they use, like I said, even in foreign language, they use metaphor. They speak in like music rather, like you compose a fragrance and you sit at the organ because it looks like the musical instrument, an organ, and you build it with top notes and heart notes and bass notes. And I loved learning that there's a real chemical science behind those designations. It's not just like this category has this certain properties. It's know that head notes are the most volatile and escape the fastest and are sort of the most fleeting, and bass notes last the longest and meld with your skin. And so I had the experience. I made this fragrance called Près de Moi, which means near to me, because I just thought, there's such an intimacy to fragrance. I think that's why that compliment, when somebody says you smell good, always gives you a little extra thrill. It's like, oh, thank you. I think it's like the sexiest compliment. But Près de Moi was the fragrance I made. And it also, like in this process, I realized that this book wasn't gonna be about historical fragrance making or this and that, but it was really just about the way fragrance makes me feel. That it's the one thing that I put on that makes me feel more beautiful, that has nothing to do with how I look. It's not burdened with the self-consciousness of even a great dress. You still wonder, like, is it too tight? Is it fitting me right? I would look better in this dress if I were different. Like, we sort of separate from ourselves when it comes to visual beauty, but there's something so soul affirming and free of judgment and self-scrutiny about fragrance. Like, it just changes your mood. It changes your emotion. It gives you a vision of yourself that you've never been before, and that inspires you to embody in that time, really connects you to your body in a way that isn't so remote. There's so much stuff with women, I feel like, where we triangulate our self-view and our desires. And it ended up in part giving way to the idea for the book. So
what is the book about?
I'm going to tell you. Should I try and get the little dog leanies?
No, don't worry about the dog.
Okay. The book.
I'll worry about the dog. You tell what the book's
about. Yeah, here's some biscuits. The book, Full Bloom, is about a woman, a young woman in New York City who just finds herself stuck in life. The relationship she thought was going to turn into forever, she gets dumped. She's stalled at her job, and she just feels like she's doing everything right and getting nowhere, until she is gifted an extraordinary bespoke perfume, a fragrance made only for her by her mysterious French neighbor, who herself is a fourth-generation nose. When she wears this fragrance, it it just alights all of her senses, her sense of self. She feels like she loses her inhibitions. She finds herself feeling more powerful and being received so much better and just attracting attention everywhere she goes. It opens doors to her that had been shut. It allows her to be this more assertive, more free version of herself. And really seems like it's transforming her only for the better until, of course, it brings its own trouble, because there is danger when we connect to our primal emotions with no filter. You know, not only is she more impulsive than she's ever been before and much less cautious, she connects to some really deep buried memories in herself about a childhood fire, a house fire that she survived, and all different kinds of stuff that she had really would have preferred to keep buried. So it's really about the way that fragrance, you know, connects to our instincts, connects to our sense of self, and the power that is latent inside every woman. So I'm really excited about the book. I can't wait for it. This is an advanced reader copy. It will be all nice and hardcover when it comes out in August. Your date is
July 15th.
And I'm August 5th.
Right. So thank you so much. I'm The Unraveling of Julia by Lisa Scottolini, and yours
Francesca Saratello's new novel, Full Bloom.
Thank you.
And we'll have more information about tour and stuff to come.
Right. Stay tuned and keep coming back Monday nights, and we'll see you again. Love you guys very much.
Bye.
Thank you very, very much for coming. Happy Memorial Day.